Join Vince and I, and even Dooms Vince, every Wednesday night at 7 Central Time on the Supervillain Network for a brand new episode of the Geekvolution Radio Hour. A full hour of intellectually stimulating discussion, or the next best thing. I read an interesting interview with Sam Raimi this week, who said that he wouldn't figure that Marvel and Sony would want him back, but the quote was, "If they needed me, I would totally come back and direct another Spider-Man." I thought that was really interesting. And in this interview, he admitted to Spider-Man 3 not being very good. And and he came out and said, "Yeah, we didn't do that right."
And did he give her is he taking ownership of this thing, or is he saying that's just the way it happened because the studio made us?
No, he's taking ownership. It's neat what he said. Sam Raimi said they didn't focus on the right things. I mean, he told it like it is. He said, and it's really interesting because I almost brought up this interview a couple weeks ago, and we didn't get to it because we had another topic, and we just didn't get it, where Topher Grace was actually taking up for the movie. Some and coming in and being he basically used the "you guys don't understand how hard it is to make a movie" argument. And Sam Raimi comes in, and I don't think he was directly responding to that. I think it might have been a coincidence that both of them happened to speak about the movie at the same time. And I should say this real quick. Let me interject on myself and say that a lot of the time I think we look at these interviews and articles and things or interviews in kind of a vacuum where we overanalyze every word, and we forget that a lot of the time it's just an interview where somebody's talking off the cuff, where somebody's asking them a question real fast and they write it down on a piece of paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Topher Grace it wasn't that bad. I mean, get off of my tuchus here and let me just live my life.
Yeah. But I will say that, well, and that's not me taking up for Topher Grace. That's just me saying that we look at these interviews a lot of the time like they're like premeditated and thought out real hard, and a lot of the time they're not. But I think that so I'm just saying that we'll take a thing like this and say, oh, this means Sam Raimi is campaigning to get to direct Spider-Man. Then somebody asked him a question and he answered it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But anyway, that's just an aside. But Sam Raimi basically said that they really should have focused on continuing to take the relationships in a natural direction and focus on that and the superhero stuff second. That's what made Spider-Man 2 work so well, was that it was about the human stuff first, and then it was backed up by the action and the comic book stuff. And Spider-Man 3, he said, and I love that he said this, he said, that was us trying to be bigger.
Yeah, I can see that.
And he said we shouldn't have worried about that. He said we were trying to top ourselves in the grandiose department. He said that's what killed it.
Yeah,
I love that he said that. I mean, I have so much respect for that, and I like Sam Raimi anyway. I mean, you're gonna have a dud sometimes. I'm not gonna hate the guy or dog on his whole career because he made a Spider-Man movie I didn't like. But they didn't. It wasn't conceived right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was cool that he said that. And after he said that, if I would be very surprised if they did. But if Marvel came in and asked him to do it, I don't think it would bother me.
I'd like to see them take some of their more adult properties and give it to Sam Raimi.
Right?
I mean, because I think an Army of Darkness, Evil Dead treatment for Man-Thing would be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. I don't know.
Although I wouldn't even say that it's outside of the realm of possibility for Sam Raimi to do a sort of more serious, pulpy horror thing. And Marvel's great for that. I mean, there's plenty of stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, they have all of that. I mean, you look at the Howling Commandos, and then essentially branch out from that, and then you have a bunch of stuff Sam Raimi could do.
Well, and Marvel's got so many monsters. I mean, do a Werewolf by Night movie. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do, and
Zombie, Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
They have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and we live in a day and age now where nothing is outside the realm of possibility.
Perfect for Sam Raimi, Terror Inc.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Perfect.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Terror Inc., if I'm correct, can we jump radically off topic here, is a character who can essentially, if he loses a body part, appropriate the body part of another living creature.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
So, if he loses his arm, he can go up to a cadaver, or I suppose an actual person, and cut their arm off, and then attach it to himself. That'd be perfect for Sam Raimi. That is a Sam Raimi thing. If you've seen Darkman, at least the first one,
yeah,
that's a Sam Raimi thing from the word go.
Well, that's a really good point.
Terror Inc., Sam Raimi, Marvel, get on it.
Well, and I said, like, maybe he could do a series where Darkman is with kind of a tongue-in-cheek sensibility to it, right?
That's true. Well, I mean, so is Terror Inc., I guess. But
yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that you're absolutely right, that he would be perfect for that.
Oh, yeah.
I also, once you describe that property, I'm like, I don't know how you do that, and you don't cast, why can't I think of his name? Or the guy who played Reanimator.
Oh, God. I can never think of his name.
Which is weird, because he's one of my favorite actors, and he was all over DS9, and it's just
Jeremy?
No, God, you're going to kill me now. Like, I will not be able to think of it now.
His name was Scott Bakula.
You said that. Oh, no! What is wrong with me? I'll think of it here in a little bit.
You know, what's funny is I always think, and I know these people don't even, or they don't even look alike, but I always think of Jeremy Irons and Jeremy Piven before I think of the guy's actual name. And I know that's not it. I don't know why.
Jeffrey Combs.
That's it.
I guess just because they all start with J's.
I
guess that's the reason. Unless Jeffrey Piven starts with a G, I don't know. But anyway, I also would not discount completely the potential for Marvel and Disney to go to Sam Raimi, because he had 3 very successful Spider-Man movies, and we live it. And I mean, like, I know the last one was, panned real hard, but like it wasn't. But I mean, like, it made a lot of money, and it wasn't because that movie didn't perform that they didn't make a 4th one. So like they just ended up not coming together and doing it. But
I can see getting him as a producer.
Yeah, I mean that too, but I mean, like, I don't know. There are things that I would have thought that you would ever see, like somebody coming in and directing a reboot of a thing. But we've got the guy who did the Star Trek reboot doing Star Wars. Anything is possible now, and the same studio. So,
if we can have Nick Cage be Ghost Rider and then Ghost Rider again in the remake.
Oh, that's true. There is precedent for this in superhero.
So
fascinating. That's
I've
true.
not seen Spirit of Vengeance, honestly.
Oh. Yeah, well...
Is it worse than the first?
They're not comparable. They're very different things.
Oh, okay.
It's bad in a different way.
Oh.
I don't know. It's like bad Grindhouse.
I could see, I think a Ghost Rider movie could be done by Sam Raimi. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And that one could be very straightforward.
Yeah, I really was just trying to ask the question if he would be good for Spider-Man, and all you want to do is come up with other things that he should be doing.
Well, I guess because I don't want to see him do Spider-Man again.
Oh, is that what it is?
I really don't want to see it.
See, I'm gonna say I'm curious about it.
I think I liked this first 2 Spider-Man movies. I'm fine with it.
I also don't want to, although I should probably say this too. I also don't want to get into the mentality of Webb made 2 Spider-Man movies that a lot of people didn't like, so we've got to go back to the first guy who made it successful in the first place, that like nobody else can do it. Well, that proves that only Sam Raimi can make good Spider-Man movies. There's a lot of people that love the Raimi trilogy that I'm sure probably jumped on, I didn't even think of this, that I'm sure probably jumped on in this interview and were like, yeah, he's the only guy. He's the only guy. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's, plenty of people, you probably do kind of want fresh blood again, like fresh to it.
Yeah.
I suppose, but I don't know. The fact that he said that just made me intrigued by it. Maybe because I don't know, like history things making history are interesting to me, and I love to see the guy come in and reinvent it and make it very, very different. But the thing is, he is so into like the Stan Lee days and not much else, and they're gonna want a somewhat more contemporary take on it, I would figure. Even though they're bringing it back to high school, like they're gonna want a more contemporary take than that.
I mean. That's exactly where I go with it. I wouldn't take it to Sam Raimi. I'd take it to somebody that's a little more hip to the kids these days, Yeah,
or at least somebody that read and loved Bendis on Ultimate.
Yeah, that was me. I loved Bendis. So what I'm saying is I should direct this movie.
Yeah, sure, Vince.
No, I don't want to direct that movie.
Well, I don't think they're offering it to you.
I'd really prefer Shazam. Marvel, get on there, and I want that Shazam movie.
I'm kidding. I know what that is. Yeah, and that's already happening, so...
Yeah. I want to be Black Adam.
And it's going to be called Shazam. I guess at this point you just say your own name, and then...
Yeah.
And then you turn it...
The actor just says his own name. He's like, Jeffrey Combs!
Jeffrey Combs! That's exactly the joke I was going to make.